welcome back, YouTubers and fellow WoT fans. My last episode, I talked about I believe it was the Lee and the M8A1 right here. M8A1 being way better than the Lee, in my opinion. But I'm not going to rehash my feelings about how this tank destroyer is. Let's move on to the next. Yes, the T-67. What can I say about this thing? I honestly feel that this thing is severely OP at this tier. I mean, it's tier 5, I know, and when someone says something's OP, that usually means there's something that's like one or two things that are like really, really well with a tank that's more, I'm not gonna say more better, bad English right there. That is much better than other vehicles. But then again, you have to take into consideration what you're going against also. I mean, you're at tier 5. That means automatically you're seeing tier 7s. And this thing against Tigers and Tiger Ps and the whole gauntlet of stuff. At lower tiers, this thing is murderous. It was a bane in my existence in WoT when I was grinding my way up at lower tiers, because this thing has exceptionally good speed. It drives around really fast. It can haul ass if it needs to. Very similar to the M8A1. It has a very dangerous freaking gun for its tier. I mean, it may not be the biggest, baddest gun at its tier. I still think the Flak Bus is still one of the best TDs at tier 5, though the lack of armor, it's just that last gun is just, that 88 flak is a monster. Getting hit by that's a nightmare. But T-67 here, one thing I do want to mention here, just briefly, is how the US pretty much names their tanks, just this part right here, the T part, T-67. The T part, I believe it has to stand for something like test, or something in a prototype, a blueprint, something that wasn't really seen in combat possibly, or just a quick build, see how it would run and whatnot. I don't know why the vehicle wasn't put to use. May have been just blueprints, like I said. I don't know the full story behind the history of this, which I think I might be able to get a brief, let's see, yeah, the vehicle saw neither mass production nor service. Anyway, the US, we put T's in the front of our stuff that's pretty much test vehicles, prototypes, blueprints, stuff that doesn't see combat. From what I just read there, the T stands for. Now, M is our official designation as something that is finalized. It will see combat. Just think about it. The next vehicle is the Hellcat. What is that? The M something. M18, see, that did see service. That's a guarantee. You got the M4 Sherman. You even have the Abrams, the M1A2, M1A1 Abrams, all that. M is what we pretty much put in there as in service, is seen combat, whatnot. Was made officially, was combat ready, whatnot. Anyway, T-67, OP, yes, to a degree. Anything at lower tiers will hate this tank. I mean, the Hetzer's not going to have too much of a problem with it. But this thing would take care of a Hetzer pretty quick. Because of one thing. If you see a Hetzer and you're spotted, the Hetzer's life is pretty much going to be over. Especially if he misses his first shot. He misses his shot, he is screwed, the Hetzer player. Because this thing will outflank it with no problem. All it would have to do is park right next to the Hetzer and just stay right there until it gets its turn to turn over, drive forward, pump a shot in the side, in the back, and it's pretty much game over for the Hetzer player. This thing will kill. This thing can kill a lot of things. Recently, my daughter started playing this vehicle, and she is doing really well in it. She's gotten, I think I recently put up a video on my page of something like 4 or 5 kills in a game. She normally does at least 2 kills, 3 kills apiece, and she's really liking this. And she says she's aiming for the Hellcat, and I'm like, all right. I don't know if she wants to keep this. I think she does. Seeing that I'm not going to pay for garage slots, another reason I hate WoT Tanks, that you have to pay for all the slots, which is stupid. Just like crew, you have to pay for crew and the barracks and whatnot, and that's just dumb. Do it like Armored Warfare. Come on, you get to keep any tank and all the crew all the time. It's indefinite. This is just, I don't know. It sounds just stupid. Yeah, all my garage slots are completely filled right now. I have to spend 300 gold in order for a garage slot. Hell fuck no. I'm not going to spend a single dime on this game until it's fixed. And I've stated this before. And something like this, something as crucial as owning a tank or upgrading a tank, it can really turn around and bite you in the ass, especially if you like all the tanks you have. Like I say, I have all the tanks I want, but I want Advance to get another tank. I'm going to have to make a decision what tank is going to be going. And then on top of that, I have to also make the decision which crew to get rid of. You have limited barrack space, and it sucks. Right now, all the barracks, look, you have to spend, to get 16 more barracks, another 300 gold. This is just nuts. 300 gold here, and then 300 gold there. The barrack space will pay off more than a garage space. It's insanity. I think that they should fix that. I mean, it's bullshit. It really is. Other games offer up an infinite amount of space, like Armored Warfare in your garage. You can keep every single tank if you want. You can get all the crews in the tanks are automatically given. You don't have to train them for shit. The only thing that they train for is skill. That's it. Those little skills and perks that they get. But that's it, you know. T67, yes. If you keep it, I would suggest Camo Net for sure, Binox for sure. Maybe Gun Lane Drive, Gun Rammer possibly if you want to shoot faster. But it seems like the reload time on the bigger derp gun is a little bit slower, which kind of makes sense, you know, bigger shell, whatnot, you know. Yeah, I could understand it. Anyway, yes, T67, it's, I can see where the OP comes from. It's got good speed, has the ideal way to play this thing, obviously, is to sit in a bush, Camo Net, Binox activated. Hopefully someone on your team has the intelligence, especially a scout tank, light tank, to zip out there, spot your targets, and you light them up, you know. Put them on fire, blow them up. That's the point of a tank destroyer. Just do it inside a bush and hide. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen that often. A lot of times I have to do a lot of spotting for myself, and that's not exactly the ideal way of playing tank destroyers. It really isn't. But yes, if your team does have a competent scout, they will pretty much spot all these other tanks and will be able to fly around the battlefield and get away before these tanks start opening fire and destroying the scout, hopefully. And this will leave you and your team of tank destroyers and other vehicles to start blasting away at this, the targets that were found, that is. But, yeah, if you feel you're being spotted, you need to get out of there, because this thing will not take the hits. I occasionally have bounced a few shots, but you can't rely on it. You really can't. Yeah, I mean, shoot and scoot is pretty much it. If you think you're being spotted, run. This thing has the ability to speed across the battlefield as fast as it can, hide in another bush, open fire on something else, or at another target. You just need to fall off radar, hide, and keep blasting away at your target if it's being constantly spotted, that is. But yes, it can be a definite overpowering tank destroyer at lower tiers. Tier 5s, tier 7s, yeah. And the higher on tiers you get, the less damage you're going to end up doing, you know. And that's the problem. It's I still feel that Wargaming should cut it down. There's more than enough tanks in tier 5s. Or even just stay within a bracket. I mean, here's what I'm talking about here. Look, you check this out. If Wargaming decides to ever alter this, so one tank sees one above, one below, would make a ton of sense. Just take a look. Here's tier 5, T-67. You have to deal with all the tanks in this for enemies, all the tanks in this for enemies, and all the tanks at tier 6 as well. That is still a huge box. Now, if you add in, that's just Americas. You add in other countries as well. Here are 5. You get all of this. The Germans. Every nation is literally like this. And it would not really damage the game, in my opinion. I think World of Tanks Blitz does this. It limits it. I know they don't have as many tanks as they do in here, in the official PC version of World of Tanks. But I think it would be beneficial. I think it would be giving the player more of a chance to feel what the tank's capable of. Not taking a tank, dropping it at its lowest tier against the highest possible threat all the time, which pretty much is how the game runs now. I mean, when you're tier 3, you see a majority of tier 5 matches. The minute you get to tier 5, screw you seeing tier 3s. I mean, you seeing tier 3s at tier 5 is super rare. It's rare. It literally becomes tier 5, tier 7. And this keeps getting this way with every tier. And some tanks can't handle it. They just can't. I mean, the Germans have that Jagdpanzer 4. I believe that's what it is, the Jagdpanzer 4. Yeah. Over here at 6. And it sees all the way to 8. The thing has issues with tier 7s already. And almost only because the gun selection is awful. But again, I mean, if they just limit it to one tier below, one tier above, and the tier you're on, there's more than enough vehicles in the game to contend with. You're literally dumping a ton of extra stuff on the player. You know, remembering some tanks, there's basic spots you can shoot a tank, obviously, to damage it, but this is I think it's too much, and some vehicles feel it, you know. I would imagine some artillery, I can kind of understand artillery because they do such big damage or fire rapidly, some of them, but other vehicles, I think they should limit what is above and what's below. I mean, there's more than enough tanks. There's definitely more than 50 tanks between tier 4 and 6 on a collectively, you know. And that's a lot of tanks to remember, you know, right off the bat. I mean, you aim for weak spots, known ones like driver's hatches and cupolas and whatnot. Yeah, sure. I meant driver ports and viewports and whatnot. And sides of tanks and engines and whatnot. Yeah, sure, that's basic. But damn, I mean, some of the tanks should not be seeing 2 tiers higher. And what's even worse are light tanks. Some of these guys are seeing what, 3, and I think I want to say I remember playing a light tank that saw 4 tiers higher. What the hell? Your gun is pointless at this rate. All you're doing is driving around, hiding in a bush, spotting, or just driving around and getting yourself killed. Fix it, Wargaming, and it's such an easy fix. See you next time.